Happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome to this week's edition of Coaching from the Couch. You know, I got to give you all a minute to get on in the virtual room. As always. And something told me this was going to happen. Something told me this was going to happen. What does that mean? Something told me that there was going to be some news coming out from Ashburn. And there is. Washington football team general manager news dropping right now as we speak. As we speak. So I'm going to give you all a minute to get on in the room here. We might have to do things a little, this might change up the flow of the conversation. So we're going to see. This is kind of like live while everything is going on. So I'm going to say what's up to everybody. Everyone say hey to my mom. Say hey to Joy, who is our show facilitator. She moderates the chat every single week. So say what's up to her. Randall Martin, the 85 South fan club from Atlanta. What's up? So glad to have you joining. Let's come on in the room, everybody. Let's come on in the room. We had a whole lineup. And I knew, let me just tell you all this. I knew this was going to happen. I was talking to Sherrod Oliphant, the originator, who is the lead sports writer for the business, as you all know. And I was telling him earlier this week because he's ready to put out some material on the GM hire. And I told him, I said, Sherrod, listen, just wait until everything is official. Because I think there's some news coming. I think there's some things being worked out. So let's see what's going, let's just see what happens. And I was kind of moseying around a bit, waiting, and still nothing had come up. So of course I want to talk to you all about some of these COVID situations, right? We want to talk about, the Caps got fined $100,000 for $100,000 for their COVID violation. Some of their top players, they got to sit down. The Wizards are still not in action because of the COVID outbreak that the team is experiencing. So I want to get to that. And Cameron, I know you want to hear about the Wizards. But news is breaking right now that the Washington football team GM will be Martin Mayhew. It will be Martin Mayhew. Earlier in the week, it was reported that Marty Herney, that was with Rivera in Carolina, would be the GM, and Mayhew would be coming here to have a high-ranking official role. It sounds like now that was actually reversed. Mayhew is the GM and will be named the GM, and Herney will have the high-ranking executive official role. So this is literally hot off the press. This is all new news. Literally, it was 7:26 or 7:27. I got a text. I saw the tweets going up, and I was like, wow, okay. And Randall, I appreciate you so much telling everyone to share the post, because I do want to talk to the Washington football team fans about this. This is big. This is big news, and we got to get the Washington football team fans in here to discuss this, and it's hot off the press. So y'all, this is what you call improv, all of that, because we're going in a different direction. We're not doing the script that I told my sister Joy. I said, Joy, I'm going according to this script. because we do have to have a run of show. And this is just me being transparent with you all and sharing that news. But hey, this is big news. I see one of my most favorite DC sports fans have tuned in, John Adams. So we got to talk about the GM situation. Continuously evolving. And I just shared, if you all haven't heard, that Martin Mayhew will be named the GM of the Washington football team. Again, it was reported earlier in the week, and I'm in between checking my phone and checking tweets and all of that. It's big. It's all big news. Another one that you will see is big news, and Cameron mentioned it as well. Jennifer King is to become a full-time offensive assistant for the Washington football team. Yes, Jennifer King will be a full-time offensive assistant for the Washington football team. You know, she was in an intern capacity this past season. And she spent, and she did a phenomenal job. They are hiring her full time. And I think that is huge. So yes, tag all your favorite DMV sports fans, notably your favorite Washington football team fans, because I absolutely want to hear your reactions. Martin Mayhew, VP of Player Personnel for the 49ers. And it's so interesting to me to already see, okay, I want to know the whole entire structure. And I know that folks are going to start asking about Kyle. Kyle did not interview for the GM role. Not certain why he didn't interview, but he didn't interview. We had the list of who interviewed here. Isn't this exciting? We all come in together when stuff is going down in a good way. This is positive news. Be positive, everyone. This is good stuff. Good stuff. Martin Mayhew, Ryan Cowden. We talked about this a bit last week, right? Eric Stokes, or just some of the names of folks that interviewed. Ron Rivera did not interview Kyle Smith. He has been with the franchise for 11 years. Another reason why I wanted to wait until things became official. Now, this is breaking news. The team has not yet, as far as I have seen, sent out anything official with this information, but this is what is currently being reported, and I'm sharing it with you all because I just got this information just before I was putting on my lipstick, and I got the information. So, Kyle didn't interview. I'm anxious to see the structure. Speaking of Kyle, whether or not he interviewed, it could have been his choice. He could still be in the role of VP of Player Personnel. So it will be interesting because at the end of the day, you have two high-ranking executives, both with ties to the Washington football team, and Martin Mayhew and Marty Herney, that will be joining the team in executive roles. I saw a couple of folks saying they love this. So I want your initial reactions. Ron Blackwell said Mayhew was a good look. It is. He absolutely is a good look. Yeah. I'm a wait and see kind of person. As you all know, but this is still promising. It is promising. I know there are absolutely questions about Kyle Smith. I have that question as well. I'm anxious to see what the structure of now this, because they're restructuring obviously. So it is exciting to see. Okay, how is everyone going to work together? What are these new titles? What is Marty's title? all new and continuing to develop, because they keep saying high ranking role in the front office for Marty, and that's great. But what exactly will he be doing? But right now, you guys, the breaking news: Martin Mayhew, 49ers VP of Player Personnel, is who will be the new GM of the Washington football team. That is the news. It is breaking. There is nothing that has been said from the team just yet, making any of it official, but that's the news for right now. The other news, for those of you who are just joining, Coach Jennifer King is to become a full-time offensive assistant for the Washington football team. As you all know, she has been a coaching intern this last year. They are bringing her on full-time. So Martin Mayhew, GM, Marty Herney, high-ranking executive in the front office, whatever that means. Jennifer King, full-time offensive assistant for the Washington football team. The Washington football team sure does always know how to derail my show, don't they? This has happened on several occasions. For folks who know and watch this show every week, you all know this has happened on several occasions where this team has some news breaks, and I'm like, okay, well, there goes the run of show, everybody. Let's roll with it. And we're rolling with it right now, you guys. So what do you all think? Randall, I see your energy. You are excited, Randall. I see your comments. You are excited. Terrence Brooks, TB, I see you. You say diversity in Washington. I'm liking it. My sister Joy says, shout out to the historic Jennifer King. Absolutely. Women in sports. You already know. So yes, this is big. This is big. I see Jamal Piper. I can dig it. This is something that can absolutely be dug. Yes, it can be. And I'm a little excited because I'm like, what's going on? And I see Sherrod, the originator, has tuned in. And like I was sharing with everyone earlier, Sherrod and I were talking about the GM situation earlier in the week because Sherrod is anxious to get some content out to you all. He can't wait to write about this. And we discussed it, and I said, well, Sherrod, let's hold off. Let's wait until it's official. And we can still wait to see about, when they make it official. Because, we always want to wait until the team comes out with some news and they say official, because earlier in the week, the roles were swapped, right? We were hearing that it was going to be Marty that was going to be the GM and Mayhew coming in as a high-ranking executive, and it's actually the other way around. So I see Daryl's question in terms of what about the quarterback? I think that remains to be seen, and that's one of the questions that we absolutely have to discuss. And we're going to discuss that. That was actually on my list of things to discuss tonight regarding the Washington football team. It was a rundown of where everything is with the GM situation. So I think we got that. We'll continue to watch and see what happens. But since Daryl, it was on my list of things. I'm sure everyone saw it. And if things pop up regarding the GM situation while we are still live, you all, I will absolutely mention it. And if I miss something, hey, listen, we family. You all are here. You all are watching. And let's communicate together and let's engage in dialogue. So, seems like you all have some very positive vibes around this news. So let's roll with it. This will now end up being a Washington football team episode that was not in the plan. I was planning on talking about the COVID situations with the Caps. The Caps are dealing with the COVID situation right now. As I mentioned earlier, they were fined $100,000 for COVID violations. They actually have one player tested positive. I do not know who that player is, but the players that are unable to play due to health and safety protocols are Ovechkin, I think it was Kuzi, Samsonov, and Orlov. Those 4 players are out for now until they get through this COVID situation. So shout out and prayers to the Caps. As everyone knows, the Wizards are still dealing with an outbreak. Let's keep them in our prayers. Their game tomorrow against the Bucks have been postponed. So that's the quick and dirty, the absolutely quick and dirty update on the other professional teams in the area that I wanted to make sure I share with you all. But I think right now the topic and what everyone is itching to talk about is the Washington football team. Am I correct? So if the Washington football team fans, are you here? Are you with me? I need a like emoji, love emoji, fire emojis, fire, all of that. All of that. Is this we doing Washington football team? Is that what we're gonna do? Is that what we're gonna do? Because I feel like that's where I'm headed. To give the quick and dirty Washington football team fans, are you here? You always are. Let me do another check, y'all. I'm looking at my phone, and I hate to do that when I'm talking to you guys. But I don't think I have anything else at the moment. So, all right. Big news, big GM news. Martin Mayhew slated to be the next GM of the Washington football team. Mayhew is the VP of player personnel for the 49ers. Well, he was, but that's the big news. And we got to give a shout out to Jennifer King. Huge news there. All right. Quarterback. Glad you asked, Daryl. Glad you asked. On my list of things to discuss was the conversation earlier this week. There was a lot going on and rumblings of Deshaun Watson and sharing that Deshaun Watson is unhappy in Houston, and what do teams need to do to get a Deshaun Watson caliber of quarterback? Do you all want Deshaun Watson? If I'm reading through, it looks like you all want Deshaun Watson. Do you all want Deshaun Watson? Listen, I do. Listen, I think I saw someone say, let's see, who Deshaun Watson. I think I saw someone mention Cam Newton. I saw someone mention Dak Prescott. Here's what we know. We know that Deshaun Watson is unhappy where he is. We also know that the Washington football team is in need of a quarterback. Here's the thing. And I think I have shared this before. And I think I don't know who they're going to get for quarterback. But here's what I do know. I do know that the team, and truly believe this, the team needs to figure that out this offseason. It would be absolutely tremendous if the team could figure out who's going to be the quarterback. If you draft the quarterback, is this the quarterback that you're going to groom and be prepared to be the franchise quarterback of the future? If you're going to trade for a quarterback or get a veteran quarterback, then that's the guy. But what I feel very, very, very strongly about is that whomever is in this position absolutely needs to be figured out in this offseason. Here's one thing that I noticed about teams that make the playoffs consistently. We always know who the quarterback is. It's never any doubt who the quarterback is. Typically, the good to great quarterbacks, they're always in the postseason. Always. For the most part. I'm an advocate at this point. And hey, and let me just say this. Washington football team fans, aren't you tired of not knowing who the quarterback is going to be? Aren't you tired of talking about this? Isn't this a conversation you would like to not have anymore because you know who the quarterback is? After all of this and the culture change and the way things are happening, and going in the right direction, I think this is the time. If you really want to be solid and stand, we know where we are going as a franchise, as a team, everybody here together. Lock in the quarterback. Lock in the quarterback. There's options. There are options. Absolutely. Listen, I see some mentioning Cam Newton. I think if Cam was going to be in the burgundy and gold, we would have saw that happen last year. I don't think Cam is it. Again, did someone say Dak Prescott? I know I said it. I said it out loud. But I thought I saw a comment about Dak Prescott. Dak isn't bad. Dak is just fine. I know I saw a comment about Deshaun's cost and the value being too high. Here's the thing, everyone. And I want to hear you all's thoughts on this. Okay, Joy, you said it. I knew I saw it. What would the Washington football team have to give up? Let's all be honest. And let's all do a collective brainstorming right here on this chat. What would the Washington football team have to give up to get a Deshaun Watson? What do you all think is a reasonable trade package for Deshaun Watson? And hey, listen, again, let me repeat myself when I say that I'm an advocate for getting Deshaun Watson. I'm not going to say no, but what would be? Here's the other option. You draft the quarterback. Draft the quarterback, start anew. Terrence Brooks says 2 first-round picks and 2 third-round picks for Deshaun Watson. Joy says we don't want to give 3 first-round draft picks away. Shiraz said just Ryan Anderson. Get Ryan Anderson can go ahead on to Houston. Daryl Taylor, 2 first-rounders and Ryan Kerrigan. I believe Ryan Kerrigan is a free agent. If Ryan Kerrigan is a free agent, then he would not be included in a trade package because he's free to go. 2 firsts and a third. A couple of those D linemen, 2 high picks, first and second rounders. Cameron says 2 first rounders, 1 second rounder, and Landon Collins. Y'all don't like Landon Collins? Let me stop. I had to think about that for a minute. Y'all caught me on camera thinking, like, wait. I want to talk about, I do want to talk about the secondary. We got to talk about the secondary at some point, you all. We have to talk about the secondary because let me throw this in here while we're still talking about the quarterback, because what is very, very important is locking in that quarterback position. And I feel like you all agree with me on that because we're tired of talking about it. We want to know who the quarterback is and keeping that solid. Keeping that absolutely solid. Daryl Whitaker says that we have a quarterback. Well, yes, there is Heineke, right? There's Kyle Allen, and there's Alex Smith. So out of those 3, yeah, I think all 3, Here's what I would also like to see happen. If I'm being really frank, I would like to see a wholehearted quarterback competition. Earn your spot. Earn your spot for sure. Landon Collins is expensive. And Cameron Curl, it played, yes, Cameron Curl absolutely did. But we're going to talk about the corners. We're going to talk about the corners because while I think we all knew that was a weak spot in the defense is good, but we knew the weak spot was in the defense. It was in the corners. It was in that secondary. I think that became abundantly clear against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So there needs to still be some work in that secondary for certain. So listen, we got about 2 more minutes. 2 more minutes. If you could tell the GM anything, if you could give any piece of advice to the incoming GM about the quarterback position, what would it be? What would your advice be to the incoming GM? What would your advice be about how to deal with that position? Are you how much are you scouting for that position? How much? And I see questions about Alex. I don't know. I think that's up to Alex's wife to determine. Shout out to Alex Smith, since y'all mentioned him, comeback player of the year. He's always winning comeback player of the year. That's just this all year. He can be comeback player of the decade as far as I'm concerned. Lash, your advice to the incoming GM is get Watson. Damon, what's up, Damon? I don't think I said hello to you all day. Get us a franchise QB. Daryl Whitaker says save money for the O-line. Save money for the save money for the O-line. Joy says we need a seasoned winner. Hey, listen, lock it in. Lock it in. You want somebody that you have to teach and groom a bit, or you're going to bring somebody in who's going to know and understand the game. To Sherrod's point, who gives you the best chance to have sustained success? That is who you pursue. That is who you pursue. Again, I'm going to go back to, do you want someone that you got to guess on? Guess what you're going to get? Wait to see how it works out? See where it's going to go? Or do you want to say, this is long term? I know stability, consistency. This is what I'm going to get long term here. Listen, you guys, we made it another week. And it's incredible because we started this week off with some breaking news, and we ended up talking about Washington football team. We did dab a bit with the Caps and the Wizards, but for the most part, we talked about the breaking news on the GM, and we also brought up the need to lock in the quarterback because hey, listen, even if say, I want to go back to Daryl's point for a moment. Even if we say they got a quarterback, well, you still got to figure out which one of them you're going to go with between Kyle, Taylor, and Alex. If Alex comes back. There's still, now I saw Ron Blackwell, I saw your comment about, hey, listen, Taylor had an excellent playoff game. He absolutely did. But we have to consider the fact that Taylor was in school. Taylor was not on an active roster. He wasn't on any roster. He wasn't even on a practice squad. So we have to consider those things. He had an awesome turnout, though, in that playoff game. And he made it absolutely fun to watch. I really enjoyed watching that kid play in that playoff game. That was a lot of fun. So we'll see. It remains to be seen. The offseason is just getting started, everybody. It's just getting started. We will see what happens. I think there is much more to come in terms of the players and the Wizards. the Caps. There has been some staff members with the Washington football team who have also tested positive for COVID. We want to keep everyone in our prayers and in our thoughts, because this virus is still very much out here. It is still very much contagious. So we absolutely want to keep everyone in our prayers. Everyone, please be safe. Continue to wear your mask. Thank you, DMV sports fans, for joining and having fun and talking our favorite teams like we do every single Thursday at 7:30. And when you come back, we're going to say, make sure you bring a friend and tag a few of your favorite fellow DC sports fans in the show. And we're going to keep it going every single week. Okay? I'll talk to you all then.